I was born in Lares, Puerto Rico. I lived there for the first 5 years of my life. The conditions that I lived in were very poor. And when I say poor, I mean very poor. I mean, we had no toilets. We used to have latrines. And of course, that didn't make for good health. So it was very tough down there. But, being in the tropics and being of a happy disposition, we didn't realize, at least us kids, because didn't realize how poor we were. My parents, that's another story. Anyway, after being in Puerto Rico for 5 years, my father, convinced by my aunt, his sister, decided that we should migrate to New York because it would be better for the kids, education-wise, and just my aunt thought it would be better. Well, when I was at the Lighthouse, I had a habit of trying to organize little bands. And I had my first trio at 16. Duke Ellington came to see me at the Lighthouse, and I played for him. Anyway, we got into the Ted Mack Amateur Hour, and we didn't win, but we were on the show. So for 15 minutes, we were very famous. Of course, on the accordion, and that's even going further back, my mother got me into this contest for a coffee called Café Bustelo. And they were holding a contest of kind of like American Idol, but on a lower scale. And so I played the accordion, I won, and the prize that I won was 4 days at the Puerto Rican Theater in New York. I didn't get paid that time around, but I made such good connections that a few years later, when I was 14, a man by the name of Catalino Rolón, who produced the show at the Puerto Rican Theater, signed me for a week, and I earned my first money, which was $150, and I got myself a more decent guitar. It was a requinto, because I used to play with trios. And so then, going further ahead, as I was playing in the Village, I was signed by an agency called ITA, and I had a very dear friend. His name was Peter Paul, who really believed in me, and I love him. He's good people, and I got my first the thing on Ted Mack was in 1962, and in 1965 I appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, playing the guitar and playing "Flight of the Bumblebee." And it's very funny how I got on that show, because I almost didn't make it because they had so many singers that they were going to tell me they didn't have room for me. So I talked to Mr. Sullivan, practically begged him. I said, "Look, I can play instrumentally on the show." "Well, what can you play?" "Well, I can play "Flight of the Bumblebee." Nobody ever heard "Flight of the Bumblebee" on guitar. They'd heard it on trumpet, everything else, but never on guitar. So I played it on the show, and it was a success. And then I was signed by RCA in 1965, that same year. I recorded 3 albums. No success, really, but that's okay. And then I started recording in Spanish in 1966 in Argentina, and it was like Elvis Presley for me. I had the screaming chicks. I was telling my manager a while ago that I had to learn to run into limousines, because it was that way. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't leave my hotel room, and this went on from 1966 to 1970. And then when I made it in America with Light My Fire in 1968, after producing 3 albums that really didn't happen, but I enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed my first album, which was the voice and guitar of Jose Feliciano, because it was produced by a man who had absolute faith in me, Jack Summer. We did 2 albums together, and then Jack left the company for whatever reasons. And then I was produced by another great producer in his own way, which was Danny Davis, who produced the Nashville Brass. And that album taught me a lot because I got to play with musicians that a young kid like me wasn't supposed to play with. So that was good. And then I went to live in California in 1967. I met a producer in 1968 by the name of Rick Gerard, great producer, good people. And that's how Light My Fire came about. We did the album Feliciano, which really was an album of the way I interpreted songs that were happening in that time, like California Dreamin', Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying, Sunny, some Burt Bacharach tunes. And the album became a smashing success. And really, I'm very proud because I was the first Puerto Rican to do the crossover long before anybody else. And that makes me proud. What can I say? I'm very proud of that. The reason I sang the Star Spangled Banner the way I did was because I got tired of every time I watched a ball game, everybody sang it the same way, and everybody was kind of anxious to just sing it, and that's it. I saw no patriotism. I saw no soul, no feeling. So I decided to do my rendition of the Star Spangled Banner because I did it with soul, with feeling. And it was different. It wasn't like I was trying to run away from doing the anthem. And so, because I did it with feeling, a lot of the veterans and war veterans of that time period didn't understand. And so it was a controversy, so much so that my records were taken off the air. And it's what I call a bittersweet time for me because it took me quite a while, till 1973, before a Jose Feliciano record would be played on the radio again because thank goodness for Chico and the Man, which was really one of a kind insofar as the theme song for television. And it was a good thing. I mean, in a way, I'm glad about the Star Spangled Banner because I chose to be different. I chose to do something innovative. Or, I didn't know it was innovative at the time. I really didn't. I just was singing the anthem the way I felt it. But when I look back on it now, I'm glad I did it because now everybody is singing the anthem the way they want to sing it as opposed to sticking to the main rule. So it was a good thing. Yeah, well, during that time period, there was a lot of ethnic programs like Sanford and Son, Good Times, the Jeffersons. The only Latin program at that particular time was Chico and the Man. And after Chico, there's never been another Latin program, at least that I know of, like that. And it only took me 2 minutes to write the theme for Chico and the Man. I was in Brazil on vacation. And they ruined my vacation. I had to come back. But they really didn't ruin it. I went for the carnivals in February, and James Comack called me, and there I was. And I went into the studio. I had a studio in Orange County at the time, and I wrote the theme I wrote two themes for Chico and the Man. One was Chico en el Barrio, which was the theme that goes, after the show, where they show the credits. And the first one, I wrote myself. It didn't take me very long. And I was thinking, because I got a chance to see a little bit of the show before I did the theme. And, of course, Jack Albertson played the grumpy old man very well. And I found, I saw what it was. And so I was kind of telling Chico, hey, don't be discouraged, The man, he ain't, what was it? Chico, don't be discouraged. The man, I've forgotten the words. I tried to make the song uplifting because it wasn't just about Chico or Freddie Prinze. It was about whoever was watching that show. I wanted them to come away with a positive image about Latinos, and not just Latinos, but life in general. And it's really true. I mean, I was born with nothing. And for me, I could have been real negative. I could have gone to Goodwill Industries and made mops and stuff like that. But I wanted something better for myself.